Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Advisor. My name is Lisa Urbanski, co-host of the show. Today we have a little something different and special planned for you. I'm here with Aline. So she is not just a guide, she's or a mentor. She's essentially like a soul whisperer in a sense. So a truth teller, someone who walked through a lot in her life. And she came out the other side carrying wisdom essentially wrapped in empathy, and she helps people reconnect to themselves as a self acceptance guide. So she guides people to accept who they are, remember who they are, and live that life through her work. And I'm going to introduce her so she can introduce the topic that she's going to share with us today, which she recorded privately outside with beautiful sounds under a tree, and I'm so excited for you guys to listen to it. I want to thank our sponsors, Spreaker and iHeartRadio, and to our fans, our listeners, our viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Just please do not forget to like and subscribe before you leave today, because without you, we cannot continue growing. So, Aline, do you want to introduce the topic for today?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just say thank you so much for your beautiful words? I felt that so much in my heart.
Mm.
Absolutely gorgeous. So thank you. And I've mentioned that before to Stacey as well when, this beautiful energy exchange, just feeling so much. It's gorgeous. So as you've kindly mentioned, what happened this morning was we had the new moon. I'm in Spain, by the way. So the new moon for me was at about 5 o'clock in the morning. And it's the episode is called The Sacred Yes. And I listened to my sacred yes this morning. And my sacred yes, and I've got goosebumps, was being outside near the tree of love with my bare feet on the ground and feeling into the episode. And it was to really feel into and share and guide how to feel into your sacred yes. So, anybody who's listening or watching, I'm going to take you through at the beginning a guided process, which I've done before, which is the stop process, the way you get nice and centered and grounded to begin with. And then we go through. There are three topics of conversation that we gently go through so you can take baby steps and you can start really feeling into what is your sacred yes, not somebody else's. What is your sacred yes? And it's coming from a place, and here go the goosebumps, it's coming from a place of love, compassion, and understanding. And it's not from a pressured place. So it's really important before I'm going to go into the podcast, before we make any decisions, before we take any action steps, are these aligned to us? Are these essentially in our heart, in our soul, in our essence? Are these our sacred yeses? So that's what the podcast is all about today, with the sun rising behind and with the new moon energy and the bird
Wow.
song.
Well, I know I'm excited to listen to it, and I know the audience is so pumped as well. It was so great to meet you. I'm going to jump into your episode, and so is everyone else.
So lovely
Bye.
to meet you. Bye. So you may notice I am on my own today. It felt so right for this final episode of the series to be in gorgeous nature, in the new moon energy that I really hope you're feeling. And the sun has risen, you can hear the bird song, and we are outside. Behind me is the beautiful tree of love, where very naturally there's a gorgeous heart carved into her, not naturally by me, by nature. That is actually a natural heart there for those of you who can see. If I just move slightly, there she is. And we are outside because this is the sacred yes for me. When Stacey throughout this series has asked me, what do you suggest for people to get themselves calm? What do you suggest for people who are just starting out with feeling into who they truly are? What do you suggest for people who are just finding out they're empaths? What do you suggest for people who are very, very sensitive souls in this very noisy world? One of the main things I will say is be in nature. So it feels so right today to be in nature. And this is my sacred yes.
My sacred yes is bare feet on the ground, being outside with nature, with the bird song, and feeling into what feels right for me. And I really felt to share this with you so you can feel the energy, you can hear the bird song, and hopefully with this episode you're going to feel peaceful, grounded, and calm as we go through finding your sacred yes, my gorgeous. So the sacred yes comes from a peaceful place. The sacred yes comes from a place of knowing. The sacred yes comes from a place of beautiful, calm, parasympathetic nervous system. The sacred yes comes from a place where the shoulders are down, your breathing is more relaxed, and you're feeling into what really feels right for you. Now, I've taken you through the stop process before, and the stop process is a very beautiful way when there's a lot of noise going on in your head, just to get yourself into a grounded, centered place. So before we go through anything else, I'm going to gently take you through the stop process. So if you're driving, please stop listening. If you're out and about listening to this, please find yourself a quiet space and just feel into this moment for yourself, because you so deserve this. So the stop process is closing your eyes, place your hand on your heart, and first of all, I would just like you to just take a beautiful, beautiful deep breath in for 5. So you're going to inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let that go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And already you can feel how your breathing has become more relaxed. Your shoulders have lowered. You're into your beautiful parasympathetic state. And you're in a measured, calm manner. And in this place, with your eyes still closed, my gorgeous, I would love you to see, and if you don't see anything, just allow the sensation and know what you're feeling and seeing is exactly right for you. So you're going to see a stop sign, the traffic sign, the red and white hexagonal sign that we have on the roads when the car is to stop. So we're going to work with those letters. So first of all, we have the letter S of stop. And S is all about sensing. And what I would really love you to do is any noise within your head. And if there's outside noise around you, just allow that to be, because there's always noise going on around us. There's always noise in the world. So with that S, you're going to sense anything that's happening in your brain, any thoughts, any negative comments, any spiraling thoughts, any thoughts of detriment, any opinions of others, anything that's going on. From this calm centered state, I would just like you to notice that. And when we notice that from a state of feeling completely calm, it feels very different. It doesn't feel as worrisome. So now what I would like you to do, my gorgeous, is with all of that noise that's going on within your head, is to give it an image, give it a symbol, and it doesn't matter what it is. The first feeling or image that comes up for you, you go with that. That's exactly right for you. And if, as I said, if you're not seeing anything, just feel it. So now you have sensed what that is for you. So now what we're going to do is, with all that noise, is that image, is just take that out of your head. And this example for me, mine is a spider scrawl, a scribble of spider scrawl. So whatever that image is for you, whether it's words or letters or just one simple image, I would like you to sense that coming out of your head, rising out the top of your head, all the way up, 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 coming out and over, going in front of your forehead, down in front of your face, down in front of your neck, and just bring that image all the way down in front of your heart. Okay, so that's sense. So you sense the noise, you give it an image, and you bring that image down in front of your heart. Now we're going to go to T. T is for trust. When we trust with our hearts. Our heart knows. Our heart always has the answers. So we've sensed, and now we trust that our heart has the answers. And now what I would like you to do is just very, very gently place that image, that symbol, whatever that noise looks like for you, into your heart. Okay, and just feel that going in. And already feel those shoulders have lowered even more because you've taken that noise out and you've trusted, and it's going into your heart. Now with T for trust also, we trust that our heart has the answers. We trust that if there's an answer to any of that noise, our heart will tell us at exactly the right moment for us. So that may be in 5 minutes, that may be in 5 hours, that may be in 5 days, that may be in 5 weeks. Whenever that time is, we trust that's exactly right for us. And with that trust, we also trust that there may be no answers at all. It may just simply be noise. So we trust that whatever that is there for us. And then we move on to the O of stop. And the O is about being open. The O is about opening that whatever those answers may be is exactly right for us. Because many of the opinions or answers that your head has been giving you may not be true to you. Your heart knows. So be open to that answer could be completely different to whatever it is that you've been feeling and seeking, and knowing there's a time for change, or something that's been really, really yearning and burning within inside you. How you're going to take those next actions, your heart knows. And it may be very, very different to what you've been thinking it is. Okay, so that's sense, that's trust, and that's open. And now we go on to the P of stop. And with P, it's practice. So practice can be whatever you wish, my gorgeous. You could put on a piece of music and just practice listening to that. You could put on a piece of music and dance around to that. You can go for a walk. You can do anything physical that you feel. You could go for a swim. You can jump around. You can also practice a meditation. You can also practice being present. And that's what we're working with today. We are in the practice of being present. So we've sensed, we've trusted, we're open, and now we are in the practice of being present. So with that beautiful, beautiful state, my gorgeous, please open your eyes, and we're going to talk about the sacred yes. Now, the sacred yes, as you're feeling where you are at the moment, feel how different that feels to saying yes to when somebody asks something and it feels pressured. Feel how different that feels saying yes as opposed to having to do something. I should be doing this. I should be saying that. I should be, etc., etc., etc. This is what I would really like you to feel into. Feel that difference from a moment ago where perhaps, and if you were in a wonderful calm state when you began, that's perfect, keep with that. But perhaps when you began to listen to this episode, you didn't feel so calm. There were noises in your head of, oh, well, I shouldn't be really listening to this. I should be doing this, 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 and this. I have to make a shopping list. I have to do the chores. I have to finish that work project. I have to do this for my family. I have to do this for my parents. I have to. So I would like you to just feel that difference where now you are saying yes to yourself in a very calm, beautiful, centered way to how you were a moment ago. That is feeling into your body, my gorgeous. That is feeling the sacred yes, which is your sacred yes. And very much my sacred yes is when I really feel the truth, as I get goosebumps. And for those of you who are watching, I don't know if you can see, I've just had the goosebumps going all down my arm. That is my sacred yes. And many of us have them in different ways, and you will learn, your body will tell you what is your true sacred yes. When I give Akashic Channel readings and I have the most beautiful truths coming through, it doesn't matter how cold it is, how warm it is, even when it's warm, my hairs will go on edge on my body, on my skin, and then my goosebumps. So that's my sacred yes. So you're going to be feeling into what your sacred yes is. And this is why I really wanted to start with the stop process, so you could feel into what is my sacred yes. And when we say yes to ourselves, that's our intuition. That's that gut feeling. And with the gut feeling, we know the expression, oh, I had a really gut feeling that that felt right for me. I had this real feeling, this real sensation to go and park over there. I had this real feeling to call my friend. I had this real feeling that this was going to happen. I had this real feeling that when I was in a really calm and centered state, when I went for a walk the other day, I really felt that this was going to really help me. I am sure you have experienced that so much in your life. This is taking that beautiful container of the sacred yes and working with it, rather than having those moments of, oh yes, I had that moment. This is creating that moment of the sacred yes for you, my gorgeous. So I would invite you in this space, or after this episode, whenever it feels right for you, just to take some time and feel into what is your sacred yes. Now, you can do this in various ways. You can do this with journaling. You can do this with just being in your space and scanning your body and saying to your body, please, can you tell me what no feels like for my body? And if I ask myself, what does no feel like? My shoulders go up. I can feel a tension. I can feel my jaw becoming a little bit clamped. And I can feel my heart quicken. That for me is a no. For me, a yes is exhaling, is going with the flow, is feeling my heart expand. That for me is my yes. And when I personally in my yes, it's a very, very gentle flow. There's a rhythm. When it's a no, there's a constriction. I can feel it. There's a constriction in my throat. There's a constriction in my tummy. There's a constriction around me and my body tenses up. That for me is my no. So I would really invite you, if that resonates with you, to feel into what is your no. And you feel into this in a really, really gentle, beautiful, beautiful space. Okay? And then next you're going to say, thank you, my beautiful body. Please, can you show me what is my sacred yes? Now, as I say this, I have rolled my shoulders back. I've taken a deep breath in. My hands are down by my sides, and my hands are actually placing themselves on the ground. My sacred yes is being grounded. My sacred yes is feeling my feet on the earth. My sacred yes is feeling peaceful and smiling and feeling loved and feeling loving. That is my sacred yes. So I would really invite you, first of all, to find out, discover your sacred yes. And if you already know it, fabulous. I would really invite you, when you know your sacred yes already, when you're in that state, that is when you make any decisions. If you are in a state where your shoulders are up around your ears and the birds have just flown overhead to say yes, is when you are in a state, if your shoulders are up around your ears, you're feeling tension, you're feeling pressured, people are asking a lot of you, it's just take a beautiful, beautiful, sacred space, sacred breath, and get into your yes. And being in your yes is saying no to others. Being in your yes is saying no to what people expect of you. Being in your yes is saying no to patterns that you had before that are not healthy for you. Being in your yes is having a sacred no. So what I would really invite you to do is look into, do I have healthy boundaries? Now, I have created a very simple, beautiful, knowing when to say no, healthy boundary checklist for empaths that I really invite you to have a look at, and the link will be below. And what this invites you to do is to have a sacred yes. So when you're creating your sacred yes, you're creating a beautiful space around you to feel into what feels right for you, to feel into what changes that you'd like to make, healthy changes you'd like to make, to feel into what is my true heart's desire, to feel into where do I want to be, to feel into how do I want to feel. And this can be in absolutely anything. We're going very, very gently because we always go gently. Your sacred yes is baby steps, is going very, very gently. And to begin, because we are beginning, it's the new moon, to begin is saying no where there's not a sacred yes. So this is where healthy boundaries come in. And the checklist is the next time somebody says to you, because we all have it, especially empaths, when someone says to you, have you just got 5 minutes? Our go-to is usually to jump in and say yes. And we're saying yes in a non-sacred way. It's not our sacred yes. We're jumping in with pressure and saying yes to others' needs, to others' demands, to others' time, and we're saying no to ourselves. When we jump in with a yes to others' needs before ourselves, that's a no. That's a no to ourselves. So I really invite you to have a look at the checklist. Now, of course, if there is an emergency, we are going to be there. We are going to absolutely, with all our hearts, be there for our loved ones when there's an emergency, or even if there's a stranger and something happens in the street, if there's an emergency, we will be there. I'm talking about when it's become a pattern, where people are used to you being there, where people don't even give it a second thought and just assume you will be there. And you do too, because you're so used to saying yes. So what I would really invite you to do is forgive yourself, firstly, for putting yourself in this situation. Please do not blame others, because they have shown up in a way that you have shown up, where you have been there constantly doing everything for them to your detriment, my gorgeous. And there is no judgment here. We're getting you to your sacred yes. So by building healthy boundaries, you are saying yes to yourself. So I would ask you to have a look at the checklist. Is it an emergency? If it's yes, of course we help. In a grounded, centered space, we do all that we can to help. If it's an emergency and the answer is, the question to the is it an emergency, the answer is no, we move on to the next question. Can this person who's asking me of this do this for themselves? And be really, really honest with yourself. Can they do this for themselves? If the answer is yes, then that is where we enter into having a conversation in a gentle way, not in a defensive way, and saying, actually, you can do this for yourself. It's not really helping you, me doing this for you. And that's a gentle conversation you can have. That's one way. Now, if the answer to can they do this themselves is yes, and they don't want to do this themselves, you can have a conversation of somebody else helping them. And you can say to them as well, this is where it's really important that if they can do it themselves and they don't want to do it for themselves, is you allow them the accountability. You allow them their sacred yes. Because oftentimes as empaths as well, we can get into a pattern where we are just doing things for people without them asking us. So another question I would ask yourself is, have they actually asked me to help them, or am I just doing this as usual? Okay, so the first question is, can they do this for themselves? And if the answer is yes, you explore very, very gently, having conversations. And this is in another episode. You explore conversations of, I'm taking space for myself. I'm not going to be available as I was before. Thank you for respecting my space. That's when we explore those conversations. If the answer to can they do this themselves is no, we move on to the next question. Is there anybody else who can help them? Is it only you who can help them? And if there is somebody else that can help them, brilliant. We encourage them to ask somebody else. And if there becomes a conversation again, well, why aren't you helping me? You can say, I'm taking space for myself. Thank you for understanding. I'm not going to be available as I was before. And if that person is meant to stay in your life after a number of conversations, if it comes to that, they will stay in your life. If that person has just been taking, and you allow that you've been giving, you've allowed that to happen, it may be time for them to leave your life, my gorgeous. So I would allow yourself, when you're finding your sacred yes and you're finding your boundaries, that people are going to be leaving you. People, places, and things are going to be leaving you that is not your sacred yes. So with that question, if there's somebody else that can help them, and there is, you encourage them to go to that other person. Now, if the answer to that is no, and you are the only person that can help them, then this is when you say, I'm available on this date. I have this amount of time to be with you to help in this situation. And you can also say to them, I am going to show you how you can do this for yourself. Now, what you're doing is you're taking space for yourself. You're giving that person accountability. You're not putting up a brick wall and saying, no, I'm never going to help you again. You are, with love and compassion for yourself and for them, saying a sacred no to your time and space and energy in that moment, and saying a sacred yes to when you are available. You see the difference? And once we get ourselves into that gentle flow of a sacred no and a sacred yes, what feels right for me, what doesn't feel right for me, how can I show up that's going to help you, that's not going to be to my detriment, then that is when everything starts flowing. That is when synchronicities start arising. That is when we get into our gentle flow, and we are living in our sacred yes. And it takes time. It takes you saying yes to yourself. It takes you saying yes and standing in your power with love and compassion, and saying no to others. Okay, my gorgeous. So I'd just like you to feel into that, how you're feeling at the end of this episode to how you felt at the beginning. I really, really hope you've enjoyed this episode. The whole intention for me of showing up today in nature, being outside, is to really help you and myself, because whatever comes in is for all of us, is to be there, to be supportive, and to feel what feels really, really right for us in our sacred yes. So at this point, Stacey would ask me, how can people get in touch with you? So there are many, many ways to work with me. You can listen to the number of episodes that we have in this beautiful Embrace Yourself, where I've had conversations with Stacey as well. You can also listen to my solo podcast, which is called Accepting the Path of an Empath. You can also, as I said, get my healthy boundary checklist, knowing when to say no. And you can also work with my online courses. I have a really, really beautiful course called the 22 Pathways of Self-Love. And it's 22 days where you're working half an hour just with yourself. And we work with affirmations, and there's a beautiful guided meditation for that day. You're discovering who you truly are. You're saying yes to yourself. And it's 22 days of getting you aligned to your sacred yes. And that is available instantly. You can work with that every day. I always suggest it is designed to work with the love. So you start on a Friday morning, and it's designed with planetary hours. So each day is aligned with the essence and the qualities of that planet. And it's all about love, my gorgeous. So that is the 22 Pathways to Self-Love. I also, you may notice, being outside, I also adore being with the fae, being with the fairies. And I have recently been given a very, very beautiful crystal fairy chakra harmony journey, and that is for you now as well. I have had this for years and years and years, and I was finally given the final download, and it's now available for instant download for you to listen to before bed. It aligns your chakras. It gets you into a beautiful, peaceful, centered, sacred yes, and then you drift off to sleep. So that's that. I am also Midsummer. I love Midsummer Night's Dream. On June the 24th, there is the most beautiful course called the Karas Method coming out. And it's a toolkit for empaths, especially for midlife empaths, especially for empaths going through huge changes. And it's designed as a go-to. And to get on the wait list for that, please see the link below, and you'll be the first to find out about it as soon as it's available. And you will also receive a 15% gift as a thank you for you saying yes to yourself. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much to Stacey. I really hope this episode helps you find your sacred yes, helps you get onto the path of knowing how wonderful you are, of knowing how fabulous you are, of knowing that you were born for a reason. It's to say yes to yourself. It's to say yes to your beautiful life. And as you're saying yes, just watch how the world changes around you. Watch how you feel about yourself. Watch how others change around you for the good, because they're saying yes to you as well. They're saying yes to your sacred self as you say yes to your sacred self. So much love, and to your self-acceptance, gorgeous. Ho.